Okay, so getting back into our coverage over Ultimate Black Panther, we do pick up with issue number 5. Now, when it comes to the opening pages of this book, it actually gives us more information about things we saw at the end of Ultimate Black Panther number 3. Because remember, at the end of that issue, we saw Storm, T'Challa, Killmonger find some kind of source of energy, but we had no idea what it could possibly do. The opening pages of this book gives us some more information about that source of energy. You see, you had T'Challa tell us and the rest of his group that this thing has the ability to accelerate biological life, to give something time to live longer, or possibly just give them chances to live a tad bit faster, kind of help move things on. Now, he also says this source of energy could also affect non-biological things as well. And so now we know a tad bit more about it. But the problem is we still don't know the actual origin of this source of energy. Now, when it comes to T'Challa, he does tell his inner circle, his group here, do not tell anybody at all, because we have to remember that there's someone in Wakanda right now who is technically a traitor, who's going out of their way to share information that should not be shared at all. Now, we do see Black Panther head over to the Temple of Voodoo Khan. Now, we have talked about them before in our earlier videos for Ultimate Black Panther. They kind of are the magical side of Wakanda. And when it comes to T'Challa, he doesn't really trust him because of that magic. Now, when it came to his father, his dad really did work with them because they had the knowledge of different things that could help a king out in different kinds of situations, like right now. And so even though T'Challa does not really trust him, he knows they're hiding some kind of information from him. And so he heads over to the leader of the actual group, and that would be Matron Imala. Now, when it comes to Imala, the actual leader of this group, she says, listen, I can tell that you want to know something. I could tell there's fear in your voice. So fine, let's sit down and I will share what I know about what you want to know about. And so you then have the two characters sit down and begin to talk. And this is where we kind of learn a tad bit more about that source of energy. Now, when it comes to Imala, she does tell us that a long time ago, two things fell out of the sky, and they were called the tears of the gods. Now, these two things, one was vibranium, but the other one was a source of energy that our heroes are trying to get a better understanding of. Now, she does tell us this right here, that everything in the universe has its opposite. So for life, there's death. For light and dark, and the list goes on. And so for her, she said, when it comes to vibranium, well, it has an opposite, this source of life. Now, when it came to the people, they called it the god of flesh. They called vibranium the god of material, but they called this new source of energy god of flesh because it had the ability to help things grow at a faster rate. And so you had the people realize its actual potential. And that is why when it comes to the enemies of the book, Ra and Khonshu, they want this so bad because it has the ability to build life. Now, when it comes to Imala, she does tell T'Challa this right here, that she does see a possible future for him, that she sees him trying to master the power that he had found. But the problem is that kind of power is going to change him. Now, before it does change him, it's going to make him beg. It's going to make him scream because, again, T'Challa is going to try to master this source of energy. But she does tell T'Challa this, make sure it does not fall in the wrong hands, which again is Ra and Khonshu, who are right now trying to find that source of energy. But now I want to jump over to Khonshu, because Khonshu really does believe that he is some kind of god. And really, we see him right now interrogating some farmer. Now, when it comes to the farmer, he came from a village that was recently burned down by Khonshu and his men. But while the village was being burned down, this farmer called out for the Black Panther, and that really did bother Khonshu a lot. And the reason why, because this farmer is kind of looking at the Black Panther as some kind of god. And for Khonshu, Black Panther is not a god. He is a god, but not Black Panther. And he says, listen, as a god, I am now asking you, really, I am telling you that you are going to help me. And then we see him begin to change the farmer into something different to possibly help him. And so now we jump over to Shuri. Now, when it comes to Shuri, she's in the new base that her and the rest of Black Panther's inner circle were able to build around the source of energy, the new source of energy. But while watching over it, out of nowhere, she is then attacked by the farmer, who's now working for Khonshu. And really, he's no longer a guy who believes in Black Panther. He only believes in Khonshu, the moon god. And so right now, he says, I'm doing this for my god. I'm doing this for Khonshu. And so he attacks Shuri. Now, unfortunately, Shuri gets her butt kicked big time by this guy. Now, luckily for her, Soren does arrive at the very end of the battle. But the problem is, when it comes to the farmer, he was able to be teleported back over to Khonshu, but he also took the new source of energy our heroes were trying to understand. The source of energy that T'Challa was just told about to make sure it does not fall in the wrong hands like Ra and Khonshu. And right now, because the last page, we do see Ra and Khonshu now holding the new source of energy, the god of flesh. And the question is right now, what are they going to do with this new source of energy? Like, yes, they did say they're going to build their kingdom, but what else? What else could they possibly do with this kind of power? Well, those answers must be given to us in later books, because we're going to end today's video right here. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, see y'all next time. Later.